Do you own a business, or will you? If so, you are about to be affected by a new law that's coming in January 1st, 2024. Let's talk about it. It is called the, hold up, have you ever read a legal document? At the top, they define all the terms. Because there are some terms in this video, let's do that right now. So the first one, it's called FinCEN. Maybe you've heard about it, probably if you watch crime movies. Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. I secretly had to read this like 20 times to make sure I wasn't fumbling over it. FinCEN, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. You try it. FinCEN, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. That's the first one. The second one is going to be CTA, which is going to stand for what this video is about, the Corporate Transparency Act. And the third one, this is the information that has to do with this and how it will affect you. It's called BOI, Beneficial Ownership Information. Those are the terms we're going to use throughout this document, throughout this video. So let's get into it. Starting January 1st, 2024, all businesses, some exceptions apply. As always, we're going to go into those. All businesses will be required to report who owns them. Now, if you're like kind of new to the business world, this may seem like, doesn't that happen already? And it kind of does. When you go register with the Secretary of State, many states require you to put who the owner is or the registered agent. But you don't have to. You can use a commercial registered agent. So that's someone else that's going to register for you. And you can have a owner or a company own you. And that is really the problem. This is where it comes in and why it's so important and why the government is pushing to have this done. Because the idea is to help stop money laundering. Financial crimes. You're familiar with those things. If you've seen thriller movies, legal crime movies, The Firm, all those awesome movies by John Grisham and books, they're fantastic. You know how this works. There's money laundering, there's shell companies. So for an example, let's say your name's Frank. Frank, it's a pleasure to meet you. You own a company called Pizza LLC because you love pizza and you like to make a good pie. But you want to have more than one company maybe underneath that. So you have your own company called Frank's LLC, and you have a pizza company, which is Pizza LLC, and Pasta LLC, and they're all subsidiaries of Frank LLC. So Frank LLC owns these younger companies. So that makes it a little bit harder to determine who ultimately owns Pizza LLC. And that's what the idea behind this, and that's what beneficial ownership information is, BOI. And that's, now this seems not crazy difficult because we have this small chain, but once you start to get bigger companies with lots of subsidiaries, that's really when it becomes like almost impossible to track who owns what company. And they're trying to stop people from starting these companies, especially foreign people, foreign companies, foreign people with bad intent. They're intending to do financial crimes, launder money, arms dealing, whatever. They start these little companies and they use them as fronts, and then they funnel the money through a bunch of different companies, and you can't tell ultimately who owns it. So you have to report this information called FinCEN. If you are already registered, you're gonna have to do it starting January 24th or January 1st of 2024, somewhere before January 1st, 2025. Now, we should think about this. The BOI, beneficial ownership information, it's defined as any individual, and that's important to note, individual who owns or exercises substantial control over the reporting company. So that would be Pizza LLC. What individual owns substantial control or who owns or controls a 25% ownership interest? So if you own more than one company or if there's multiple owners, again, that just muddies that water way more. This company can own a little bit of this, which in this owners own these. So all these things, if someone owns more than 25% of a company, it has to be reported. This can also help track things when this guy's selling to this company who's deducting it from this company and he owns them all. And it just makes for some tricky accounting to really massage books to make it look like a different financial picture than really is there. Now, on paper, this sounds amazing. Not amazing, right? It sounds like, okay, that sounds like a good thing, right? Now, kind of. It could be helpful. And honestly, outside of the United States, most countries already do this. This is pretty common knowledge. It's called BOI, beneficial ownership information. But it's new coming here. Now, it's important to note there's going to be people who are scared of this. They want their information to be private, and I understand that. Now, on the documents, on the law, it says only people that can see this are the legal enforcement agencies. So law enforcement agencies, the federal government, they are the only ones that can see it. Now, maybe you feel comforted by this. There's a lot of people in the United States that do not trust the federal government, and so they would hate this. But you don't have a choice. If you are going to have a business or you're going to start a business, this is going to affect you. But the information should be completely private, which means you cannot do a freedom of information request. You can't, like me, regular Joe, and I've done tons of freedom of information requests. You cannot go request this information and get it back. It should be just private. This is not the case in all other countries. Most of these countries, most of this information is public. So I don't know if this is going to continue like this as the law is stated right now. And again, these things can change. We know how laws change all the time and their final forms can change. It's supposed to be private. So maybe that's going to happen. Now, the reasons why this is good, it should help with law enforcement and help eliminate financial crimes. There's a reason why it sucks is the more regulation required when starting a business, the less likely it is you're going to start the business. Starting a business should be simple. Less hoops, the better. Ron Swanson is the man. If you don't trust the government, this sucks because you're not going to want to give them more information. You don't trust them to begin with. So to recap, if you are a business owner registered with the Secretary of State before January 1st, 2024, which is like now, anytime before this date, you have a year. Before January 1st, 2025, you have to file this with FinCEN, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. If you register a company after January 1st, 2024, you have 30 days. The state is supposed to tell you you have to do this. You have to register with FinCEN. Now, if you are a funder, if you're someone who's looking to do business due diligence, and you would love to know who the beneficial owner is, because honestly, that helps with due diligence checks. If someone's looking for a loan, a business is, and you want to know who owns that business, this would be information you would love to have. Sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. Sorry, it's supposed to be private. You can't have it. I can't have it. That doesn't mean I'm not going to try. Once this information starts going in there, I am going to try to do freedom of information requests to try to get this information. But right now, as far as it's stated, can't access it. I have the details in the description. Check it out. Hit those links. If this has been helpful, like and subscribe. I'll check you out later.